All right, hey everyone, welcome back. So we're going live a little bit, well, 2 minutes early, not that much. I'm just excited. I was happy today. Hopefully you guys are happy as well with Bitcoin going up. Miners were going up as crazy as well. So it was a great day. We've had very, very few of these days in the past. We've had a little bit more here recently, but in the past, it hasn't been that great, depending on the time frame that you look at least. Today we're going to take a look at obviously what happened with miners, Bitcoin as well. We'll take a look at Cipher news. There's some, how do I want to put this? There's some trend that I'm seeing at least right now with the miners that have two have reported so far, Mara and Cipher, and the trend is not looking good right now, at least for what happened in June. Hopefully July is going to be a better month for them in production-wise, but we'll take a look at that. What else do we have here? We got some news from Hut 8 as well, and then we'll get into your guys' Q&A. Have some good news stories on Bitcoin as well. But that is about it. So let's get into it here. Time is money. If you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And Anthony and Bryce love it as well. But as always, not financial advice for only do your own research, full disclosure below that. Let's get into it here. So let's see here. Where's my screen? There it is. All right. So Bitcoin today had a nice bounce off from where it ended up yesterday here. So that was awesome to see. I was happy to see that. Hopefully we stay above the 50-day simple moving average, the SMA here, which is this blue line right here. We dipped below it here, but we bounced strongly above it here. So that was nice to see here. So we were up 3% on the day roughly. We closed at 108,889. We did get it to a high of 109,823, pretty close to 110,000 there. And we're down just a little bit here on the new day. We're down 0.12%, not that bad. So great day for Bitcoin and miners as well. Bitcoin kind of started out flat a little bit down towards the end, or down in the beginning. It was down in price, but then it came back up quite nicely here, so that was nice to see there. Miners had a fantastic day. The markets were a little bit mixed here. Dow Jones was down a little bit. The S&P was up a little bit, and the Nasdaq was up a little bit as well, about 9.4% there, 0.94%. Sorry. On that one, Ethereum was, let's see, did Ethereum go up today? Yeah, Ethereum had a nice bounce as well. That one was up 6.89%, so that's going to be a good thing for the companies that are going into Ethereum Treasury, right? BitDigital, the other one that Tom Lee is part of as well. That should be good for those guys. All right, but let's take a look at the miners here. Miners, oh my gosh, Bitfarms, nice bounce today. It was up 19.64% on the day. It's back above $1 here. In the new day, I think it was down a little bit, or the pre-hours, the after hours, it was down a little bit here. Let me see. Is it flat now? Yeah, it's down just a little bit, 0.98%, 0.1 cent on the day, so not too bad there. BitDeer was up 15.75%, also bounced nicely above the 50, or the 150 and the 200 simple moving day averages, bounced right above those, so that's good to see there. Cipher was up also really, really nice today, up 15.92%. It finished out at $5.68. I still think it's undervalued. It's got good growth happening here in the next couple of quarters, as well as they try to get to 23 point something exahash by the end of the year. So they still have a little bit of growth there. We'll talk about them. They had to curtail quite a bit. We'll talk about that as well when we go into covering them. Cleanspark was up 12.64% today, had a really nice day. It started out kind of weak, actually. It was only up like 1%, 2%, and then it finally started to go back up quite nicely here. So it definitely, I don't know what it caught, but whatever it caught, it was good. So that one was up 12.64%. I'm up on CORZ right now about Cleanspark. I'm up about 126% as of this afternoon, which is a nice gain there. I love seeing that. CORZ was up a little bit here today. It was actually down most of the day, and then it finally finished out in the green here towards the end of the day. It was up 1.8%. We saw the same thing with IREN there. IREN just barely squeaked out a win here. Hive was up 8.7% as well, so that was a good day. Hut 8 was up 14%. I don't know if it was the news that came out for them that pushed it up. I think it was just a whole market in general, the whole sector going up in price today, which was nice. And then IREN was up just a little bit here today, 2.82%. At one point, it was down about 2%, 3% at one point. And then it finally bounced back up to the positive side of things here. So it's continuing a nice push upwards. Like I said in yesterday's video, I'm a little concerned that we might see a little pullback on it. I think that would be kind of healthy even. It's just been going up too high, too fast here. So I'd like to see a little bit of a pullback, but man, it could still continue on here for a while. Okay. But yeah, I saw IREN and CORZ being in the red here today, while the other miners were actually in the green here. So I was thinking maybe there's some rotation happening here where people are selling out of CORZ and IREN as well, and getting into some of the other miners, which might have been a possibility there as well. Mara was up nicely today, 13.38%. Also, it's above the 200 SMA right now. Riot was up 8.25%. It's continuation of a nice little rally here. Has been good for them. And the Wolf was up also 13.51%, and that one is above the 200 SMA as well. So the miners are doing really, really well, which is what we hoped for would happen here in the second half of the year. And hopefully this continues on going forward. Right, we don't know where they're going to end up at. And as long as Bitcoin price goes up, I think they will continue to do well also. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Hopefully you guys are happy about it as well. But continuing on here, MicroStrategy was up nicely today, 7.76%, back up to where it was, or close to where it was just a couple of days ago. Galaxy was up just a little bit here, 1.68%. Let's see, Metaplanet was up a little bit here, 0.71%. Similar was up 11.63%. And then we had the blockchain group was up, or down actually, sorry, 7.3%. On that one, Phoenix digital assets was down also a little bit, 15%. GME was up 1.14%. Small miners for the most part. Let's see here. Small miners were up for the most part except for Argo. Argo was down 20% after a bounce it had yesterday. 40-some% here, so that one's still trying to figure itself out, it looks like. BitDigital was up nicely, 13.85%. DMG was up nicely, 17.18% also. So a lot of these guys are catching a nice day today. Bitcoin ETFs had a really good day here as well. BitQ was up 5%, BKCH was up 8.67%, DAP was up 6.51%, and WGMI was up 8.92%. This thing has had a nice run up here recently with IREN and CORZ running up nicely here in the last couple of days. That's definitely been helping that out. I own that one for my retirement account along with BitQ. So I'm happy with the performance of those things here. And it will definitely help out if they go up even higher. Will help out my retirement when I do retire in the next 20 or some years. But I'm not going to be holding on to them for that long. I think I'm going to be selling them later on. So that was good there. Let's see here. What else do we have here? And apologize for the kids upstairs. I got family over, and they're having a little fun with our dog right now. So you guys can probably hear it up there. So I do apologize for that. See, Griffin was up also nicely today, 29.83. Right, this is based on the what is it? What's that called? The prospectus being provided. I think the S4 for the company going merging with American BTC. That was part of it, I think. And if you look at it here right now on this one, let's see, look at the financials here. I think it's worth like almost 90 million here, right? And Griffin only has 2% of the future company. So if you multiply this out, you're looking at like a market cap of around $4 to $5 billion. There isn't any other company here right now except for maybe Mara that's valued at that high of a valuation as it is. So is this thing being overvalued possibly? I think so. Right now, based on just what we do know about it, we know that American BTC is going to be possibly growing to like 25 exahash here this year, based on what Hut 8 is going to be giving it to that side of the business, and we'll have to keep an eye on this. But right now, this looks a little too hot for me, a little too overvalued potentially. But that'll also depend on how many shares are going to be announced for that and everything else on that one. Okay, so there's that. Let's take a look at the after hours action on these guys here. What do we got going on here? We're up. Let me see if this is the latest here. Yep. So BitDeer's up just a little bit, 0.31. Bitfarms is down almost 1%. Again, I apologize for the kids upstairs. Cipher mining is up, looks like another 8.5%. Is that correct? Do we have the latest data? No, 0.35%. Okay. Cleanspark. Let's see what Cleanspark is at right now. Cleanspark's down 0.64%. CORZ Scientific is actually down 1.2% in the after hours. And then see here on Hive. Hive is down just a little bit, 0.01%. Hut 8. See that one as well. I probably should have updated this or refreshed these pages here before you guys came in. But Hut 8 is up 1% right now after hours. And then we got IREN here. Let's see what IREN's doing right now. IREN's down just 0.5%. Mara on the new day is down 0.5% as well. Riot really quick as well. Let's see what they're at right now. They're down 0.33%. A little profit taking happening, kind of to be expected after the nice day that we had here today. TeraWolf is still up 1.39% on the day. So, and then this was the American Bitcoin news that we talked about yesterday as well. I probably get rid of that. All right, so there's that. Bitcoin for the month of July is up 1.71%. So we have reversed that, and we are green now. At least we're starting out green. We'll see where we end up by the end of the July here. Bitcoin inflows here. We broke our trend that we've had here of positive inflows here yesterday. For some reason, it looks like IBIT didn't buy anything, which is BlackRock yesterday. Everybody else was selling out here. So we had a negative 342 million of outflows yesterday. But today, we're already at 407 million of inflows. And we still don't have IBIT, BlackRock here. I'm guessing that's going to be positive as well. And that might push us over $500 million, if not a little bit more than that, as it is. So that's great news there. Next here is some good news on the ETFs here. This is from Matthew Siegel here. He has an alert sign with WOW. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF drives more revenue than its S&P 500 fund. Summary by Bloomberg AI. The iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF IBIT has generated more revenue than BlackRock's iShares Core S&P 500, with an estimated 187.2 million in annual fees. Right? This is all good news. And again, sorry about the kids upstairs. But this is just showing that Bitcoin does have some power there. And also with the big guys here, they love making money. So if they, they're making a lot of money here right now as it is, they're going to want to keep making that money. And they're going to, I think, going to pump Bitcoin up even higher here than what we think it might go to, because they're generating revenues off of that as well. But they're also generating revenues on volatility. If it goes down, they're making money. If it goes up, they're making money. So they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And this is going to end up being probably a longer cycle than we think, right? An extended cycle, like I've been saying for a while here on that one. Next year, we have another company here continuing to add on to it. So the H100 group has added 47.33 Bitcoin to their treasury. Total holdings now at 247, so small amount, but still, you got quite a few of these smaller companies that are adding to their HODL position here as well. And we're seeing that happening here right now, more so as time progresses as well. So this is all great news here, okay? Next here we're going to get into is Hut 8. They provided a little news update here, or press release. Hut 8 secures 5-year capacity contracts with IESO for 310 megawatts of power generation assets. And this is good, right? At least they're going to be used for something, and they'll get some money out of it as well. So today they announced that each of its 4 natural gas-fired power plants in Ontario, collectively the portfolio, has been awarded a 5-year capacity contract with the Ontario Independent Electricity System Operator. The contracts were awarded to Far North. Far North is their subsidiary, basically. Following successful bids submitted into the competitive IESO medium-term 2 capacity auction, and will commence on May 1st, 2026. The contracted assets total 310 megawatts of nameplate capacity across 4 sites: Iroquois Falls, Kingston, can't pronounce that one, Kapuskasing, and North Bay. The contracted include a weighted average capacity payment of approximately $530 per megawatt business day in 1 year, with partial inflation and indexation that allows for potential increases over time. So these are going to be, the way I understood this is the way they are going to be used is basically as backups, right? So anytime they need to generate more electricity, they get these things running and they generate money at that point. So if they were able to run 365 days a year, 24% or 24 hours a day, they would generate approximately $60 million in revenue for them additionally. So nothing to sneeze at, but are they going to be running at 100%? Probably not, right? I don't know what the utilization is going to be there, whether it's going to be 50%, 35%, whatever that's going to be, depending on the spikes and demand times and things like that. We don't know. But it's going to be somewhere, I'm guessing, between 20 and probably maybe $40 million a year of additional revenue for them for this stuff. Somewhere around there, at least. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. But we'll see, right? So this is actually good news here for them. And then let's get into Cipher here. Cipher provides their operational update for June here. And here's what we have. So today they announced that phase 1 of the Black Pearl is now delivering 3.4 exahash of self-mining capacity, exceeding the company's prior guidance of 2.5 exahash for the second quarter of 2025. Hash rate will continue to increase at the site through the third quarter of 2025 as new mining rigs continue to be delivered in scheduled batches and gradually replacing legacy units. Cipher's total self-mining hash rate has now reached 16.8 exahash, and the company maintains its expectations to scale to 23.1 exahash upon completion of the installation. In addition, the companies today released the unaudited production and operation update for June 2025. While the report includes initial contributions from Black Pearl, which started hashing at the end of the month. The production numbers also reflect the company's strategic decision to curtail more deliberately as part of its proactive 4CP avoidance strategy. This approach allowed the company to avoid costly 4CP penalties and maintain its position as having some of the lowest power costs in the industry. Insights from June will inform further refinements to the curtailment model for the remainder of the summer. Okay, so the 4CP is 4 incidental, or I don't know what they call it here, 4CP, 4 coincidental power spikes or something like that. When I was managing a small mining farm, we had the same thing, right? They told us about the 4 CPs. They would let you know on those days when power usage was going to be pretty high because of weather, probably because it was getting too hot. So you're going to have a lot of people running air conditioners and things like that. If you were able to curtail at that point, you would save on your rates going into next year. So we try to do that as well, and they're trying to do that here as well. But it seems like they curtailed for a little bit more than just a 4 CP here. Usually you get that throughout the summer here, but not a whole couple of days here. We'll take a look at the numbers here in a second. We'll look at my chart as well on these things here. Okay, so I understand that, and we saw the same thing happening with Mara as well yesterday. They provided the numbers, and their production was down quite a bit because of the curtailment there. So Bitcoin mined here was 160, BTC sold was 58, Bitcoin held was 1,063, and month-end operating hash rate was 16.8. Month-end fleet was efficiency was 20.8 as it is on that one, and you can see the Black Pearl site here as it is. It's actually a really nice site here. Definitely built this out nicely, and it does give them potential there in time, and maybe if somebody is interested in this, a site that could be transitioned into HPC-AI as well, because you do have the space between the buildings to put in coolers and redundancy power as well, potentially backup generators and things like that. So nice design there. On that one, it is a nice site, I will say that. All right, so that's looking pretty good. All right, let's take a look at my numbers here, and we'll get into Q&A, and we'll call it a day as it is. So Cipher here. Going back up top here really quick. All right, so Cipher has 371 million shares. Stock price as of today was $5.68. Market cap $2.1 billion as it is. Performance of the last 12 weeks has actually been pretty good here. They're up 12% from 1 week ago, 9.2% from 4 weeks ago, 43% from 8 weeks ago, and 76% from 12 weeks ago. Current hash rate 16.8. Future hash rates, I should update this. It's going to be 21 or 23.1 exahash, something like that. So that's going to get updated there. So they still have a little bit of growth here as it is. Bitcoin HODL is 1,063. That's valued at 115 million. That's only 5% of their HODL position, right? So what are they being valued on? They're being valued more on their operations and future growth potential, as well as potentially HPC-AI, I think. Okay. All right. Bitcoin production here was down. So I took out the Bitcoin that was mined for the JV, joint venture there, which they don't have over 50% of that. So we got them at 145.6. They're down about 12.9 from where they were in May here. So definitely curtailment there was happening. Revenue went down a little bit here to 15.38 from 16.35. Bitcoin HODL is starting to increase here a little bit as well from April's low of 855. So that's good. Hash rate difference, nice increase here over the month here, 3.3 exahash, sorry. As we've had basically 5 months of no growth here for them. So it's nice to see that they're growing again. Bitcoin sold, like we said, 63 Bitcoin here roughly. And BTC per exahash efficiency, 9.5. That's a result of curtailment there, unfortunately, as it is. All right, institutions here. Institutions did go into them a little bit more here. We have 303 institutions right now. 266 million as it is. 79.96% owned by institutions. We have 7 buy ratings, 7 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 1 hold rating, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target for the high stayed the same at $9, the average at $6.83, and the low at $6 as it is. All right, going down here to the operation side of things, it looks like, based on my numbers at least, that I could figure out, they said that the miners were running for a couple days towards the end, right? So did they install the miners and then energize it, or was the site energized and then they were installing miners? I don't know. I'm giving them basically the same amount for everything here. Based on this, they were operating about 18.43 days out of the month here. Even if I lowered this, I could probably lower this down to maybe like 7 days or even 10 days. That would increase the number there a little bit, maybe get them to like 24 days out of the month. So still, they definitely curtailed for quite a few days there out of the month nonetheless. Like I said, we saw this with Mara as well. We'll see what the other miners report, but I'm guessing we're going to see similar numbers from them as well as we are seeing right now with Cipher and Mara. We also saw that huge dip in the network hash rate happening in June. People were contributing that to what was going on in Iran. I didn't think that was the case. I thought it was more of the heat that we saw here, obviously in the United States and maybe across other countries as well, that contributed to things being curtailed, and we saw a huge dip in the network hash rate there. Okay, so that kind of maybe played out the way I thought it did. All right, going up here based on May numbers here. I think I'm using May numbers here, or June numbers, sorry. Yeah, June numbers times 12 months. I'm in between 373 and 559 there, 568. I still think that they're undervalued as it is. They do have a lot of growth here happening going forward, plus the HPCI potential there. So I do think that they're still a really good number to get here at right now on it. But other than that, it's great to see that they're finally getting stuff installed. Great to see that they are, growing for one, finally. Talked about them for a long time. We've talked about them for probably, a year and a half to 2 years or something like that. And I've always said that last year, second half of the year is going to be probably better for them. And it is turning out that way. So that's nice to see. Efficiency should also get better for them as well as time progresses here, as they remove some of the older machines and install newer ones. So that'll be good for them. And other than that, they just got to continue to execute and hopefully have maybe a little bit better uptime. Because for curtailment, I don't think they reported it here. I'd be interested to know how much they got for curtailing. Okay, there, it says it in here. Includes June power sales estimates based on current meter data and nodal prices, equivalent to 5 Bitcoin here, right? So the amount they got for the curtailment from curtailing was not as much as they would have had if they just operated at a higher uptime as well. So, right, it's one of those balancing acts that you got to do here with the mining and curtailing and keeping your electricity costs low and things like that. So that's it. Let's get into Q&A as always here. Let's see what you guys have to say. As always, spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members as well. Link for that is down in the description if you want to join, help support what I do. A couple bucks a month, and you get access to all this stuff here. So I was supposed to provide this to you guys today. Got a little distracted, I guess you could say. So I'll get this out to you guys tomorrow for sure. All right, this will include Mara and Cleanspark, or not Cleanspark, Cipher today as well. That's it. Let's get into Q&A. See what you guys have to say. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And I'm going to scroll my way up and work my way down as always. And again, I do apologize for the kids upstairs. But they're kids. Yeah. Okay, talked about that one. John Kurt says IREN is king. IREN has been doing really well here, right? But we may be seeing maybe a little pullback, which I think might be healthy. Let's see. Andrea says Hive went to the moon today. It finally got some love. Yeah, it was nice to see that. Let's see. John Kurtz, WGMI, yours. Yeah, WGMI, I do have that in my retirement account. Hive up 24% on the TSX. Okay, very nice. All right, Daniel says, today was a testimony of how Ethereum treasury-based companies will perform when Ethereum is simply positive. Did you see SharpLink Gaming, SBET, plus 28? I saw that on X. People were talking about it. Yeah, that one did very good today. Let's see here. Urban says, surprised that you are not reporting Cleanspark stream production numbers. They were very good. When I checked like at 7 o'clock, I still didn't see those. Did they actually provide them? Let me see here. Unless I missed it here. Well, then we'll have something to talk about tomorrow then, I guess. Let me see here really quick. Cleanspark. Let's see here. I don't see it. The last thing I see is see, where's that screen? Cleanspark reaches 50x hash milestone, skips velocity. That's the only thing I see in their press releases, unless they posted it someplace else, not the website yet. But this is where I always check first here. So if they did, that's awesome. If they had great numbers. If anything, we'll have to talk about it tomorrow. Okay, go back there. All right. Andre says, Big Three only Riot, Mara, Cleanspark will be leaders in the Bitcoin mining. Well, Riot is pausing mining as it is, right? Because they're going for more HPC AI stuff. Mara is still, you could say, a pure play miner, but they have hinted that if they get a deal from somebody on their sites, they would be open to it. So we'll have to see on that one. Whale Tail Mining says, clap them cheeks. Things are doing good. Asar Melon, IREN ripping. All right, Daniel's got a question here. Now that Banana Zone has clearly started, what 5 stocks would you pick to get the biggest upside until December 3rd? Stereotype of gains. Mine are Bit Digital, Griffin, SBET, Hive, IREN, and Cleanspark. Again, Bit Digital, right? That's dependent on if Ethereum does well. Griffin, that one right now to me looks like it's overvalued based on just the valuation of their current stock. We'll have to wait and see when they merge with USBTC, or not USBTC, American BTC. What are the number of shares amount and where does that actually lend? Because right now they're being valued like $5 billion, somewhere around there. So that seems a little off to me based on just the hash rate that they have coming up here. But the other ones, Hive, IREN, Cleanspark, I would maybe include there in Cipher as well, potentially. But the ones I would think of are Cleanspark, IREN, Cipher potentially as well. And then I would add in there possibilities that might do very, very well here are, geez, I'm trying to think. CORZ, well, CORZ depending where they get sold at. Hive potentially in there as well. So yeah, I mean, I like the ones you have here. Bit Digital and Griffin are kind of high already as it is. Or at least Griffin is. Gary's got a question here. I believe I heard you say you're up 92% since you sold some Cleanspark. Curious how Cleanspark has performed since you made the trade and if you are satisfied with the results or wish you hadn't sold. Well, I sold back in last year. This was probably right around this time as well. I have to look back at it. I don't know where Cleanspark was at that point. I think it was probably even higher than what it is right now. That's why I sold a portion of it. I think it was up. So I'm getting close to where I was at least with Cleanspark last year. Let's take a look at the chart here. On that one, let me pull this up. Okay, let's go to the screen here. Let's go to chart really quick. Cleanspark. So going back to last year on them. Let's see, this is November, September, June, right around here. I think I sold it right around here. So it was right around like $16. Yeah, 16 to maybe $18, something like that. That's kind of where I sold a portion of it at that time and bought in at IREN some more. I actually started my position in IREN at that time. So it's right around this time as well. So I'm not quite back up. I had a higher percentage at that point. I think I was up like 200%. Right now on Cleanspark, I'm about 126%. So I'm getting back to where I was at least when I sold a portion of it to buy IREN at that time. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. And then let's see. Are you satisfied with? Am I satisfied with the results? I'm happy with the results, I guess you could say. Obviously, I would like to see them go up even higher, and I think they will in the next 6 months. Right. Dan says, IREN and HUT $200 end of 2025. I'd love to see it, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Unless IREN and HUT both get a huge contract for HPCI, I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Which company was you just talking about? Don't know how far back we're going to go. We talked about a lot of companies here, so I apologize for that. All right, talked about Gary's question here already as once. Let's see. Bitchin82's got a question here. With Mara trading at HODL value, do you think they have the most unlocked potential share price as they grow to 75 exahash? I don't know. Right, they haven't been valued as nowhere near as nicely as they have been last cycle. One of the reasons I can think of is because of the continuation of dilution, right? That's one reason. The other reason is they're not as efficient at mining as some of the other companies are, and their costs are higher. So I don't know if they will get that love from investors like they did last cycle, where they said they were at like 3 exahash or something like that, getting to 21 exahash. That was huge growth there. The growth that we have here now to 75 exahash from where they are right now at about 58 exahash is nice. It's a good growth here towards the end of the year. But it's not that 7x growth that we saw last time that they were promising. So I don't know if they're going to catch that same type of hype as they did last time. All right. B82 says, my top plays for second half of 2025 are IREN, Cleanspark, Mara, Hive, Bitfarms. Top current position is CORZ, but expect to be acquired. Who am I missing? I would say look at Cipher as well, right? Cipher's did great today. Who else? We'll have to see where American BTC comes in at, what's their pricing, what's their valuation at like when they do go public with the merger. Yeah, I would say right now it's pretty good. Dan says TerraWolf and BitDeer. TerraWolf, I mean, we're not getting much updates from them as far as operations for Bitcoin mining. So I don't know how they're doing, to be honest with you. BitDeer has a lot of growth here later on this year, getting to 40 some exahash, I believe, is their goal. So that's a lot of growth from where they are right now. That one should do pretty good as well. We'll see. All right. John Kurtz, if the jobs report tomorrow morning is as low number, the Fed will lower rates in July. Market closes tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. Happy 4th. Okay, so we have a half a day tomorrow. Okay. And then, yeah, I knew we were going to be off on the 4th, but I didn't know we were going to be half a day tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that comes in at. All right, Daryl, question. Would you agree that Hive is one of the most undervalued currently? Yes, I would say Hive and Bitfarms are one of the most undervalued as it is right now. But can they get the love? They got the love today at least, which was nice to see, but can that continue on here? That's the question, right? They've been underperforming not only Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, some of the other Bitcoin miners as well, even in the last, I would say, year to 2 years. So that's the only question I have there. Victor C, what miner's still undervalued at the moment? We just talked about it. I still think that a lot of these guys are still undervalued from where they really should be. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll look at the enterprise metrics of the miners, see where their enterprise value is right now compared to like maybe the big market cap as well. Other things, we'll look at that information tomorrow, see where things are ending up at that point. Ja has a question here. Hi, Seb. The Bitfarms volume today was insane. Where do you think this attention came from? One, Bitcoin price going up in value. That is one thing. Things have been beaten down for them, and they're just catching a nice little bounce here, I think. So that was nice to see. But we saw a lot of miners doing really, really good today, not just Bitfarms. So if it would have been one thing if all the other miners didn't do that great and Bitfarms did, but a lot of the miners did great today. So I think it was just a sector-wide repricing happening here right now. So I'll take it. I love it. All right, Wes Clark's got a question. Seb, I came in late, but did I see Cipher data correctly? I see it up 53% in the last 5 days. Your data was much less. I'm looking at last week time frame, 4 weeks, right? So that's a little different. So yes, if you look at Cipher, it's probably up quite a bit here in the last couple of days here. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Yeah, in the last 5 days, you said? I think you said 5 days. Let's see, screen. On that one, if we look at the last 5 days, it is up quite nicely here. Let's see, let's go back up here. Yeah, it's about 55% in the last 4 days, 5 days, trading days, something like that. So yeah, it is up quite nicely here. My data looks back at 1 week, which was last week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and 12 weeks. Right, so if we go back 12 weeks, we're probably looking at somewhere around here, but still doing really good. But yeah, last week has definitely been much better on that one. But last week it only looks at like from here to here or something like that, wherever it was. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever we looked at that point. From Monday to, yeah. Oop, there we go. See, Michael, I think what had good numbers? Well, we've only had 2 miners report right now, Cipher and Mara. We're still waiting on the rest to report. We'll see which ones had good numbers then. Dave's got a question here. Didn't expect Bitfarms to go up 22% close, just over $1 US on NASDAQ, $1.38 on TSE. Yeah, it definitely went up quite nicely today. We talked about it last week that Bitfarms could possibly go down to like 50 cents, and at that point I'd be like, I'll buy into it at that point. It's just going to be ridiculously undervalued. So I'm not getting my 50 cents on Bitfarms. It doesn't look like it, at least right now. If you guys were able to buy it at the 70 cents level or something like that where it was, congrats there. I didn't get it at that point, but I still have a bunch of shares that I'm holding on right now as it is. Erwin says, Yahoo News published Cleanspark stream production 600. Okay. Let's take a look at it. See, did they publish it? Let's see, we got Cleanspark open here. Let's see if they got any news on it. Oh, yeah, they did. Okay. That is strange. Let's take a look at it here. So here's a screen. Cleanspark produces 694 Bitcoin with sales at average price of, where is this from? I think they might be using their wallet there because it doesn't look like a release that we would see from Cleanspark itself. So I think they're using the wallet address and just kind of figuring out what's happening there. on that one. And that's kind of the report there. But this is not the official report from the company yet. So this is just simply Wall Street. Looks like they're going by their numbers there, on the wallet at least. Okay. So hopefully they'll report it tomorrow. We'll see. All right, let's go back here. All right. Karan asks how high Griffin BitDigital Hut 8 can go when BTC is at 200,000. Well, Griffin's going to be merging with American BTC. It'll depend on how much hash rate they have for them. If you recall, Hut 8 has a deal with Bitmain to host 15 exahash of their machines with the optionality to purchase that. I don't know if they purchased anything there yet. BitDigital, on the other hand, is getting away from Bitcoin mining, so now we're looking at them having exposure to Ethereum more so than anything else. So we'll have to see how Ethereum does. So that's kind of hard to tell where they're going to go. They're also spinning off their white fiber, their HPCI business, data center business, into its own entity, and we'll see if they get that multiple like other data centers are getting, like 15, 20 multiple or something like that. Hut 8, right, is going to be a weird one in there because they're going to have hosting, managed services, power generation, and Bitcoin mining is going to be through American BTC, which is going to be a separate entity as well, but they're going to have 80% in that one. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets reported on things. So those are tough to figure out where they're going to go to right now. Dave's got a question here. Bitfarms closed at, let's see, we're closed. Does that save them from a reverse split? Well, it saves them from a reverse split for the time being, as long as they stay above $1, right? The concern has always been that they will be below $1 for a long period of time, like 6 months to 9 months or something like that, where then they would be forced to do a reverse split. But right now, it does seem to be a good thing for them, at least. Okay. All right, Classic K Drama Clips question. Should we be worried about upcoming ATM or dilution from IREN or Cleanspark? Both running well. Usually they're announced ATM party poopers. IREN just got a convertible note for, can't remember how much, was it 400, 500 million or something like that? So they should be okay for a while at least. They shouldn't be using the ATM. Cleanspark is selling partially what they mine here as far as their Bitcoin production is each month to fund operations and finish up the growth that they're trying to get to by the end of the year. So they've also mentioned that there is, well, they don't have an ATM anyway, so they can't pull on it at least right now. But they've said that they're now looking to dilute shareholders at least into the end of the year here. We'll see what the next year brings us. But right now, into the next 6 months, we shouldn't see dilution from maybe both of these companies here, right now at least. Let's see, I4Gore, very interesting how the algos correlate the miners based on their business. Yeah, sure is. Victor has a question. What is your top AI miner? Top AI miner, I think, might be IREN. IREN, I think, has the most potentially. They got the most megawatts right now that's available. So that would be my top one. After that, I would probably go with Cipher. And then after that, I would probably go with Riot, potentially. Right, those guys. And then Hut 8, all those other guys as well. MinerDoc, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the super chat, for the $50. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for everything you do and being consistent even during difficult times. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've definitely had quite a few difficult times here the past 2 or 3 years with the miners. It hasn't been easy, but we're finally starting to kind of turn around things. And hopefully it lasts. It's just not one of those things where we're up for a couple of weeks and we go back down again. Right, so thank me at the end of the year, but I greatly appreciate the super chat there. Thank you, MinerDoc. Let's see. JD says Bitfarms will still have the downward sell pressure from Riot, so this might be a good time to exit and re-enter, correct? Possibly, but depending on how much downward pressure you get there, right? If they kind of control themselves on the sell pressure side of things, Riot that is, then, you know, the stock could actually go up higher and they could actually get more of their money back instead of losing more money. So the smart thing would be to do just kind of let it run a little bit, pull on the good days, you know, and maybe not bring it down so much. That would be the wise way to do it, I guess. Let's see. Marcus says, Bitfarms did good today, but I don't really know why, especially with the reverse split approval. The reverse split approval is just there in case they can't maintain the dollar minimum for NASDAQ listing. At least that's the way I understand it. They do have until 2027, right, to possibly use that up. So it's not like they're going to do it right away. I think that's never the case with them, or at least that's what Ben has said in the past. But with them getting above $1, that definitely helps. As far as why were they up today, I think it's just because they've been beaten down so much by Riot, and maybe Riot put a pause on the selling there for a couple of days, or a day at least, where the stock was able to breathe and actually get back up with and run with the other miners here today. So I think that's maybe the reason why there. All right, Dad's Market Stats says I sold Bitfarms covered calls today for 122 in premiums. I own 27 shares. Very nice. Nicely done. All right, Marcus says I think Bitfarms still may run Monday. It very might well, right? Depends on how heavy Riot is selling there. Let's see, BTC is not even running. Yep. Let's see. Okay. The question, does Bitfarms reach $5 before Cleanspark reaches $62? Oh. Well, that's a 5x, and for Cleanspark, that would be almost a 5x as well. So, I mean, it'd be pretty much the same for the both of them. I don't know. I would think, based on what Cleanspark has as far as operations, HODL, and everything else, I would think that Cleanspark would get there first. But Bitfarms has been beaten down quite a bit as well, so it might catch a nice bid up as well. I don't know. That's a tough one. Wes Clark, thank you so much for everyone with the thumbs up. All right. Gary Pellet says, hasn't Cleanspark reached escape velocity and are done for good on ATM dilution? That is what they keep hyping in media. That's what they're saying, right? That they have reached escape velocity, meaning that they are able to generate enough revenue from Bitcoin mining, selling a portion of their Bitcoin to then fund the growth and operations as well. I would love to see that, but I think as they get more hash rate installed, right? So if they're planning to get to like 60, 65, maybe 70 exahash by the end of the year here, that's also going to help, especially as Bitcoin goes up to 200,000 or something like that. That would help in possibly going to next year as well, where they don't have to dilute as much. But we'll have to wait and see on that one, right? I've always said that these companies need to get to scale at a certain point, and if they get to scale, they can then fund their operations and growth through Bitcoin mining. But you need a certain amount of scale in order to do that, and some of these guys are getting there, I think, or have gotten there already as it is. All right. Zach, what do you think about Bitmine Immersion Technologies? Stock gone up $5 to $72 in 1 day or two. Well, that's because Bitmine is going to be doing a Ethereum HODL strategy, basically a treasury, similar to strategy as well. A lot of treasury strategy. That's a lot of words there. But yeah, that's going to be happening there. And also they got Tom Lee on the board there. That is what pumped the stock really well. So that's kind of where it's at right now. Let's see, SH says 52 million shares traded today, not because Riot decided not to sell. What other reason do you... Well, Riot's been selling a couple million shares, one, whatever it might be. But it's just the market itself is being repriced. So I said it's part of it, but also possibly the Riot maybe held off on selling here. Maybe. I didn't say that they did. I said just maybe. Yeah, Marcus says, notice that the volume for Hive was high as well. Yeah, a lot of the miners had high volume today. So that was a good day. It was long overdue. It was nice to see that kind of day. And this is kind of what we would expect in a bull run on Bitcoin with these miners. I mean, they run. When they do run, they run. And today we saw a little portion of that as well. So it was great to see that happening here. Let's see, got one more from Gary here, one from Heinze as well. Let's see what we got here, and we'll call it a day. Gary says, question, not really escape velocity if Cleanspark may dilute again. Remember, they still were not mining profitably in Q1. Yes, I remember. And you keep me honest on that, so yes. But as they increase their hash rate, that's going to help them out as well on it. And they should be earnings positive without the FSB in Q2, right? They should be. We'll see if they are, but they should be on it. What else here? Heinz's got a question here. Seb, what do you think about SharpLink Gaming and their Ethereum holdings versus BitDigital? I have never looked into SharpLink, so this is a new one for me. I know BitDigital has around 20-some-odd thousand Ethereum, but they're going to be buying more as well. So I don't know where those two compare right now as it is. All right. B82 says, good day. Good day to y'all as well. So today was fun. Today I loved it. This is why I got into the miners, is on days like this. It's all the other days that we have. It's like, you have 90% of these bad days, and then you have like these 10% of these great days where they run like crazy, and this is why I do this. This is fun. Today was a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed today. And hopefully we see a lot more of this happening in the next 6 months as well. So I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for coming in as always. We'll get back into it tomorrow, and then we'll take Friday off and Saturday off, and we'll get back into the swing of things on Sunday as always. So thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. If you guys enjoyed the show, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out. That's all I ask. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye.